The Occidental Petroleum Corporation is an American oil and gas exploration and production company based in Texas. Founded in 1920, it has a global profile with worldwide operations. Occidental discovered the Piper Alpha oil field in 1973 and built the platform which became operational in 1976. The rig was home to 200 crew who lived and worked on the platform for months at a time. The platform stood more than 470 feet above the water and was situated around 120 miles northeast of the Scottish city of Aberdeen. The modular designed platform consisted of 4 main operating areas, which were separated by firewalls designed to withstand oil fires in an arrangement which ensured hazardous operating areas were located far from personnel and command areas. At its peak, Piper produced 300,000 barrels of crude oil daily, 10% of the UK's consumption. In addition to the 128,000-mile pipeline connecting Piper Alpha to the Flotta oil terminal on the Orkney Islands, Piper's operations included the extraction of the gases methane, propane and pentane, which required gas pipelines that connected it to the Claymore platform, Tartan platform and a separate MCP-01 gas processing platform. The Piper Alpha had 1 export riser and 3 gas risers to facilitate the safe transportation of the oil and gas from the seafloor to the platform. To enable the Piper Alpha to process gas, essential works were carried out. Major modifications to the rig became necessary, and some of the original safety measures were compromised. These included the installation of a gas conservation module, GCM, and alterations to Module C to enable gas processing. This change of use from oil to gas was completed in 1980, and the Piper Alpha started processing gas via the gas conservation module. In 1988, this module required maintenance, and operations reverted to processing gas with the compressors located in Module C. At 12 noon on July 6, 1988, an engineer performing routine maintenance removed the pressure safety valve from Pump A, one of the 2 Piper Alpha condensate pumps located in Module C. He then used a hand-tightened blind flange to seal the pipe and completed a permit stating that Pump A should not be switched on. At 6 p.m, shifts changed and the night crew assumed duty. At around 9:45 p.m, Pump B became blocked with methane clathrate icy condensation. As the entire power supply of the offshore construction work depended on this pump, the manager had only a few minutes to bring the pump back online, otherwise the power supply would fail completely. The night shift were aware that a permit was in place for Pump A, but they were not aware that the relief valve had been removed for maintenance under another permit. They went on to restore the power supplies, open the suction lines, and at 9:55 p.m, Pump A was switched on. The hand-tightened blind flange failed. A large amount of condensate was released, which created an explosive vapor cloud, resulting in a chain reaction of explosions and failures across Piper Alpha. Firewalls, which were designed to withstand burning oil, crumbled under the pressure from the detonating gas. The fire spread through the broken firewalls, fueled by the Tartan and Claymore's continued gas production. At 10:04 p.m, the control room was abandoned and Mayday was signalled. At 10:20, the Tartan gas line ruptured, releasing 15 to 30 tons of pressurized gas every second, which ignited. Shortly after, the Claymore and the PCP-01 gas lines also ruptured. Thick black smoke made helicopter rescue virtually impossible, and lifeboats could not be reached. The disaster resulted in the tragic deaths of 167 workers, damages costing £3.4 billion, and substantial damage to the environment. William Cullen's inquiry found the primary cause was an unsafe permit-to-work system. But unlike other disasters before and since, the inquiry also revealed widespread and serious safety failures, not only in Piper Alpha's systems, but in Occidental's management and the Department of Energy's regulation of the industry. The permit system failure appears to be the initiating event, but it should not have been possible for a procedure failure to have resulted in such an accident. The disaster was a confluence of design flaws, human error, and bad luck, including failure of the permit-to-work system, no formal handover between shifts, safety policies and procedures not followed, no drills or exercises to test emergency response, no training for disaster management, failure to conduct adequate risk assessments. Of the 226 crew on board Piper Alpha on that fatal day, only 61 survived. Although the Lord Cullen inquiry attributed the blame to Occidental, no criminal charges were brought. The company was heavily criticised by the Health and Safety Executive and media. The inquiry resulted in 106 recommendations for changes to North Sea safety procedures, all of which were accepted by the industry. The most significant recommendation was for the Health and Safety Executive to bear responsibility for North Sea safety, replacing the UK's Department of Energy. This removed the conflict of interest for one organisation to oversee production and safety. The Piper Alpha disaster was the catalyst for the UK development of safety case requirements. An evidence-driven approach, validating safety measures' effectiveness, ensuring risks are minimised. The Piper Alpha disaster was the largest man-made disaster at the time, and it continues to be the worst offshore disaster in terms of lives lost and impact on the industry. In the space of 2 hours, the Piper Alpha was reduced to a shell. In the 10 years that followed the disaster, the offshore industry spent more than £2 billion on health and safety. The Piper Alpha disaster in 1988 shocked the world and had a global impact on the safety culture, safety management, and legislation across all industries.